This is the time when even the musicians are against it. A rich girl from Harvard and a street gang. They spent a wonderful night in the square. But the girl's father looked down on the boy. Forced them to stop seeing each other. But the gears of fate have started to turn. The girl found out that she was pregnant. She wanted to have a baby secretly. But her father still found out her secret. After a quarrel, the girl fell out of the door, but had a car accident on the way. When she woke up in the hospital, her father told her that her child had miscarried. The girl believed her father's words. She promised not to meet the poor boy in this life. But in fact, the child did not miscarry. Instead, she was sent to an orphanage by her father. The child kept waving his little hand, as if sensing the beat and rhythm of music. A generation of musical geniuses was born. But Annie thought the child had been miscarried. From then on, she left the bright and shiny cello stage. She became a music teacher. She often saw other people's children in a daze. And the poor boy Charlie also lost the light of life. He gave up the music path and became a financial entrepreneur. In 10 years, Xiaoan became the most famous man in the orphanage. He can hear the music that others can't hear. It seems that he was born with this ability. No matter in the wind, in the air, or in the light, he can hear it clearly. With his parents as soon as possible, he decided to go to the city alone. For many days, he finally came to the bustling city. The sound of the wind, the sound of the flute, the sound of the flower wheel, the sound of the cry, these messy sounds became wonderful music in Xiaoan's mind. A symphony gradually formed under his command. At this moment, even if he and his parents are far apart, even if they meet, they don't know each other. But music can bring magical feelings. Passing through time and space, the soul that touches the deepest part of the other person is as pure as the spring water that flows in the heart. Annie seemed to sense the existence of Xiaoan. But this feeling turned around. Just because Xiaoan's thoughts were interrupted by the rapid melody, he followed the sound to a park. A black kid was selling instruments. The novel instrument attracted Xiaoan's attention. He couldn't help but touch it. Xiao He rejected him. Xiaoan ran out of pocket money. This will come on time every day to collect the money the children earn. If there are children who can't earn money many times, they will scold them lightly. But Xiaoan took the initiative to join. Because there was an instrument he had never seen before. He took advantage of everyone's sleep. He came to the guitar quietly. A slight touch of the finger made him fascinated by the crisp and moving sound. He was brave enough to wave again. The beautiful melody flowed quietly in the hall. The sound shocked Xiao Ji, who had just fallen asleep. It also shocked his sleeping companions. Xiao Ji called Xiaoan a genius who had not met for 1,000 years. He explained the basic knowledge of music to him overnight. He said that musical instruments understand human emotions better than humans. It can make people happy and sad. But only those chosen by musical instruments can control it. In just one night, Xiaoan's understanding of the guitar surpassed all the children. Xiaoji took him to the park. Although it was Xiaoan's first time playing, the beautiful and unique melody flowed like the sound of the sky. It filled the whole park and instantly attracted a large number of people to watch. The money he earned alone was more than that of other children. Xiao Ji shouted excitedly. He named Xiaoan August. This name is about to become a superstar. It also means that you can earn more money. But Xiaoan was not interested in superstars and money. He only cared about his name. Can parents see him on TV? At the same time, Annie's father was hospitalized due to illness. In a trance, he finally told the truth of that year. Annie's motherly love in her heart was ignited again. She went crazy looking for her child. But the sea of people did not know where Xiaoan was. He could only go to the Children's Service Bureau to check the information. But the staff said that they would find someone to go through the process. Only 6 months. Later could he pass the examination. But Annie was born in the month of the year. She didn't know anything else. This situation is no better than the sea of people. But she didn't want to give up. She showed up at the Children's Service Bureau every day. The director couldn't help asking her, "Explain something to me now." "Why now? Why not before? Why is it so important that you want him now?" "I've always wanted him. I've waited 11 years, 2 months, and 15 days to find out that he's alive." Annie's eyes moved. The director. She decided to go through the process for him. When the director checked the information, Annie was attracted by the patrol notice on the wall. There seemed to be a line leading to her. She saw Shaoan's photo at a glance. "This is him?" "Yeah." Knowing that this was her son, Annie was excited. But Shaoan had left the orphanage. Annie decided to pick up the cello and stand on the bright stage again. Because only by expanding the influence can the information of her son be promoted. Maybe Annie's mother's love moved God. The police really found Shaoan's scales. Then she carried it on her bag and went to school. Shaoan looked at the melody of the piano and listened to the noise from the window. Inspiration flowed into his full-length piece of piano in the afternoon. Even Mozart was not as talented as her. The same shocked the priest of the church. He believed that Shaoan was not an ordinary person but an angel sent by God to the world. The priest decided to fulfill his duty and strengthen Shaoan's talent. He sent Shaoan to the best music university in the country. The professor was shocked by Shaoan's talent. He arranged for him to study with the college students. But a month later, all the students were still trying to listen to the class. At that time, Shaoan wrote a complex melody. The priest looked at Shaoan and sighed. No one can understand the world of genius. Shaoan was called to the conference room by the priest. He thought he had to criticize himself for not listening to the class seriously. But he didn't expect that the priest sat opposite him and forced him to play this song at the concert. But Shaoan asked the sole question. How many people will hear it? It will be performed in Central Park on the Great Lawn. 100? Much more. Thousands. People think Shaoan is pretentious. But Shaoan knows that if thousands of people come to see his performance, Shaoan may have his own parents. Shaoan is very grateful. His efforts have not only influenced the band members, but also the famous conductor in New York. He will personally guide Shaoan's shortcomings, call the father and son back. She insisted on participating in the performance of the Love Band. Charlie thought so too. He started playing the guitar again. He came to New York for his first performance. But George found a school in this matter. He wanted to take Shaoan away. The conductor asked him about his relationship with Shaoan. Shaoan didn't want to go with him. George threatened him with sending him back to the orphanage. Shaoan was afraid. He didn't want to go back to the park, but he didn't want to go back to the orphanage either. He had to leave the school with George and return to the desolate park. Again. Shaoan was frustrated and helpless. It was really amazing. Charlie didn't know that he had a son, but he was attracted by Shaoan's unique guitar sound. He praised Shaoan's guitar. He proposed to play a game. The father and son, who had never met, sat together to practice. Music became their bridge. They built a friendship like family in their hearts. Charlie admired Shaoan's talent. He shouldn't be buried in this small park, Shaoan told him. Sadly that he was supposed to attend the concert at night, but he was forced to stop because of some things. Charlie encouraged Shaoan not to give up easily. He also took the initiative to say his name. Shaoan hesitated for a moment, and said his name. August. George was ashamed in the distance. He was afraid that Shaoan would be cheated by Charlie. They said goodbye to each other. Looking at Charlie's back, Shaoan thought he was his father. Charlie looked back at Shaoan. He also had the same idea in his heart. The music performance came to an end. Annie was in charge of the opening performance. Because she hadn't been on stage for too long, but her name still caused a stir. 11 years later, Annie's love voice abandoned the haste of the past and added a sense of longing. Not only did the audience feel the deepness, but also Xiao-En felt the same longing. He bravely told George, "I'm not coming back this time. Because you have to find your parents." "Right. Yeah." He didn't wait for George to react. Xiao-En rushed to the scene of the performance. George, who had reacted, chased after Xiao-En. Behind. He soon forced Xiao-En to a dead end. Fortunately, Xiao-He appeared in time and knocked George out with a guitar. Xiao-En ran desperately in the basement, and ran to where there was light. Suddenly, he stopped. It seemed that a mother's call came from above. It was a call from Annie's love voice. The opening was a perfect ending. There was a thunderous applause again. But Annie didn't have any expression on her face. She only cared if her son received her heart. But the show was coming to an end. Xiao-En didn't make it to the scene. The principal regrettably told the audience that the last performer was absent due to a special situation. The principal's voice just fell. Xiao-En arrived in time. This 10-year-old genius stood in front of many musicians and waved his baton. His style was mysterious and unpredictable. Sometimes he was in a hurry and sometimes he was gentle. Even if tears blurred his vision, he had a happy smile on his face because every note he played was calling his father and mother. Annie, who had left, seemed to have sensed it and slowly turned her head. Charlie was also struck by Xiao-En's unique style, slowly approached the stage. Charlie approached Annie affectionately. After 12 years of meeting, he finally held her hand. Again. Xiao-En also felt all this. He slowly turned his head and looked down at the stage. Even if there was no speech between the three of them, a look, a smile, and a little encouragement seemed to wait for a long conversation. They seemed to have known each other for a long time and were close to each other. They said gently, "I'm here too." Fate has a mysterious power that makes people who should meet and makes them wait in despair and despair. As time went by, their power broke through the walls of fate. Their meeting was no longer a fairy tale.